What's up, you guys, and welcome back to the Fumble Live. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We are talking about some interesting trades that may be happening this coming offseason with Russell Westbrook to the Lakers. We're also talking about how the Patriots plan on welcoming Tom Brady back for their game against the Buccaneers. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter @JRayTheFanatic.
Jackie, how are you feeling today? What's new in your life? Any quick little updates before we dive in?
No, we're one day closer to the weekend. I'm excited about that. I see y'all are already talking about this Steven Jackson thing, so I can't wait to get into that because I don't know if I'm going to. I never go with the flow of the chat, so y'all can just anticipate where I fall on this one.
Ooh, I haven't seen what the chat is saying about that story, but what I will say is when I looked at it myself, I certainly have my own opinion, and I feel like he is misunderstanding a big portion of it. I don't know, but we'll talk about that in the post-up. That's coming up later. We have a lot of fun stuff happening for you in the post-up. But for now, let's talk about these trade rumors. So do you remember when both LeBron and AD started following Nina Westbrook, Russell's wife, on Instagram? And, oh, there we are. People were like, oh, does this mean a trade's going to happen? And at the time, both of us were like, no, this really means nothing. They probably were all at the same event together, and they were like, oh, I didn't realize I'm not following you, so I'll click the follow button. I didn't see that there was any truth to it, but now there actually seems to be a little bit of support for these rumors. The Undefeated reported that Russell could be on his way to the LA Lakers. So Mark J. Spears wrote, quote, there have been talks about Russell Westbrook being a potential candidate to move back home to Los Angeles in a sign and trade deal that could include free agent point guard Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Kuzma, Talen Horton-Tucker, and that's all, of course, just according to sources. So if that does happen, well, first of all, before we get into the second part of this story, what do you think about this? Would you like to see Russell Westbrook in a Lakers uniform working alongside LeBron and AD?
I'm not ready to send THT off, but everything else is good with me on this one. If we could get rid of Schroeder and Kyle Kuzma to get Russell, you guys know how I feel about Russell Westbrook. This isn't new information. I think it would be quite interesting. His style of play is entirely different than anything LeBron has played with. He speeds up the game, and I know LeBron is very methodical, and especially when I don't like him at the point guard position. I've never liked him at the point guard position. So, Russ at that position is great. However, he speeds up the game. He just does. And so it'd be interesting to see how that would work, what that means to two guys who have not played at that 100 miles an hour pace that, Russell seems to play at. But I do think, Russell's also at the point in his career now where he's more I don't want to say he's never been adaptable, because I think that's a bad rap that he gets. He's a great teammate. And I think all of his teammates can attest to that. So I think he would fit in fine. I'm still on Team Dame. I know that that's damn near impossible. But if we can't get Damian Lillard, then obviously this would be, a second choice, because we do need a solid point guard. I think Russ is great. For me personally, right this second, I am curious how he's going to fit into that scheme. He's an entirely different player. JD says Russ to the Lakers ain't a good fit. Russ should go to Miami or Boston. I disagree with Miami. I could see Boston. I still think Kawhi should go to Miami. But that's just me. But I love Russ. I don't think I don't have a solid answer on this one, only because he changes the dynamic so drastically that I just don't know. And I love Russ, so it's an interesting thing for me, because normally I'd be like, hell yeah, I want Russ on my team, but I'm like, I just don't know. I don't have a solid answer for this one.
I wonder if Russell were to join a team like the Lakers, where we know that the system is already working. Yes, they didn't have as deep of a playoff run as we would have liked, but that was because of sort of extraneous reasons. I wonder if we're plugging him into a system where LeBron already reigns supreme. He's got his sidekick in AD. There's already sort of this established power hierarchy. If he'd be more willing to kind of jump in and play his role and, you know, not necessarily change things up so much. I would actually be interested in seeing this happen. Of course, I'm with you, and I think that Dame would be a much better addition to the squad, but I don't know. I actually sort of feel like Russell could work with the team, and it could be kind of interesting to see.
JD kind of nailed my thought process on this. I'm very team Russ. I want Russ to succeed wherever he goes, including the Lakers if that's where he comes. But JD says, you think AD can play faster without getting hurt?
Good point.
That's not even my concern just for AD. That's my concern for LeBron. He speeds up the game. Regardless of whatever you like or dislike about Russell Westbrook's style of play, he speeds it up. And that's not how LeBron plays. LeBron, yes, when we're talking about that third quarter, fourth quarter, typically when he was younger, he speeds up, but he's barreling downhill. He's playing bully ball and just getting to the basket. That's different than Russ just playing, 100 miles an hour. He's a Tasmanian devil out there. So that's great for him. But when you talk about AD, who I'm just this close to calling Mr. Glass, and LeBron, who's 36, I don't know.
You already call AD Mr. Glass. He has already earned that title for you. And honestly, it's fitting. It's warranted. He is very, very fragile, which is so funny because he's this big burly guy with a unibrow. So I don't know how that ends up working out.
Shading the unibrow. It was shaded in a fun way in the movie, but not shading the unibrow. I like the unibrow.
Okay. You know how I feel about the unibrow. But I see a lot of you in the chat also saying that CP3 is a better fit for the Lakers. They're also interested in getting him over there as well. So that probably would be a better fit, although it would leave two sort of veteran players kind of at the top. And I'm not sure that that's what the Lakers need right now. I think the Lakers need that youthful energy. I know you have something to say, Jackie, so say it, and then we'll move on to the next part of this story.
I've been a fan of the Chris Paul to Lakers argument for a while. However, no, Mike Glock, we're not shaving the unibrow. But however, he's also 36. So I've always been a big proponent of, as you get older in this league, there's a couple things you need to do. You need to make sure your outside shot is great so you're not getting beat up in the paint. And you need to make sure you have younger guys around you who can help carry that load sometimes. So even though Russ isn't younger, his style of play is a little younger. Chris is 36 as well. He slows down the game, which is better for AD and LeBron. You got to find something in the middle. I don't know if you want somebody as fast as Russ, but I don't think you want anybody as slow as Chris because you just need something in the middle. I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's likely a better fit out there. I think Dame is the answer that we both want to say, but it's tough. That's a tough one to make happen. But let's talk about the Wizards right now, because if Russell does leave Washington and move to the Lakers or really anywhere, what does that mean for Bradley Beal? Now, we know Bradley Beal has insisted that he is committed to the Wizards. He's a lot like Dame in that way, where he wants to stay there for the entire length of his career, which I don't understand. It makes absolutely no sense to me. But year after year after year, I feel like we can sense his growing frustration in the way he handles himself after games and on the sidelines when, yet again, he's notching another loss and missing another, playoffs, not getting the chance to actually be a title contender really ever. So the ideas, well, right now the rumors about Bradley Beal are that he could potentially find himself somewhere like Philadelphia with the Sixers, because they are a team that definitely needs another star, especially when they get rid of Ben Simmons. So that could be a good boost to the Sixers roster. It might help them a little bit. I'm not totally sure how the Joel Bradley Beal matchup would really work. But without Russell on the squad, Bradley Beal really has nobody with him on the Wizards. So I'm wondering if he's actually reconsidering his decision to stay so focused on that franchise, and maybe he is open to another opportunity. Do you think, Jackie, that there is any chance in the world that Bradley Beal would consider leaving the Washington Wizards? And if so, is that kind of dependent on what Russ does?
It's interesting because I thought this right after the Bucks won. I'm like, okay, here's a guy that everyone said maybe he should leave, and now he won. I wonder what's going through the head of Bradley Beal and Dame Dollar. I think it's a different situation. I think that the team that the Bucks have is an entirely better team. I don't want to say entirely better than Dame's team, but they do have. Yes, I'm going to say that it's a better team. It's a better team than those two, especially the Washington Wizards. For Bradley, I don't know how come he hasn't given up way sooner, to be honest. They just haven't done the things for that franchise to make it viable. And even from a business sense, because your squad doesn't even get airtime. It would make sense for the higher ups to do everything they could to make that franchise viable. Just that we want to watch it. We don't want to watch it because we know, okay, Bradley Beal going to go out here and do an amazing thing and get the L. Don't nobody want to watch that. And they haven't done anything to make that franchise better. And it is mind-boggling to me that that Bradley hasn't been at least considering abandoning ship at this point. But now, if they don't go above and beyond the call of duty to keep Russell there, which I know Russell's like, they really can't because of how his contract goes. So he's not gonna, unless, like I said, they go above and beyond. And then do you want to go above and beyond? Because how does that impact your future to get other players? So it's just a lot. So I think that if Russ goes, it should be the same situation that we saw in Houston. Russell went, James Harden went. And then that's just how it should go. And I get that you guys like it as fans, but this whole being loyal to a franchise, that's for the birds to me. Because again, if this franchise gets tired of you, they shipping you off. They don't give a damn about your loyalty. That's number one. And your career is only so long. It's only so long. So while you running around here being loyal, you're going to be loyal to no rings. At least give yourself the best shot to get a ring. I think he goes. The 76ers matchup, and I know you said you don't know how that would work. That would be fantastic because his mindset is great. He plays fantastic. You instantly get what you thought Ben Simmons could be, and a scorer, somebody who's not afraid to go out there and leave it all on the court, and somebody who's not going to get under the basket and be like, oh, damn, should I take this shot? That's not who Bradley Beal is. He's 100% confident in who he is as a player. That would be an instant success. It might take them a while to get their chemistry right, but that would work 100% off top. And if that is an opportunity for him to take, he should take it and not look back, not feel bad about it. If people want to burn his jersey, he should send them matches. But I don't think he should give a damn about any of that. He should be out. Let's go.
I agree. And from when you take a step back and you look, it's like, okay, I admire that you're going to stay so committed to a franchise, but like the Wizards, it's not even
Right.
like it kind of, I don't know. I'm having a very hard time understanding why he's willing to let his career and his skill kind of just fizzle out in a place like Washington. It really is hard for me to grasp, but I think that if he could go anywhere else, I think a change of scenery is going to be a really good thing for him. The Sixers would at least put him in a spot where he has a shot at making it to the finals. And then I think the big difference, I know you were saying like, oh, Giannis, people were saying, oh, should he leave? Should he leave? Is it going to work with the Bucks? And then now here he is, and he's won that ring. But I think at least with the Bucks, for the last, 2 seasons, they've been able to be at least in finals talks. Even if they don't make it very far in the playoffs, people thought, okay, they stand a chance. I don't think anyone's ever thought the Washington Wizards are going to stand a chance in the finals. So Bradley is constantly putting himself at a disadvantage here. It's really never going to work. Also, let's move on a little bit. I'm switching gears just a tiny bit because right now the Bucks are actually having a parade to celebrate becoming champions. And
Get our parade. Yes, boo. Nobody should have a parade until we didn't get our parade. I'm sorry. I'm so salty.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. No, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about. Bobby Portis is live on Instagram right now. They're having a grand old time. They're celebrating. Where the hell is the Lakers parade? And I know we don't really care about baseball that much, but where's the Dodgers parade? Where is our celebration? Are we just like, what? Help me understand. I don't get it.
The whole world was mad at us when everybody went down during COVID. This is why. Because we knew y'all wasn't going to give us our damn parade. We was like, we got to risk it all because they not going to give us. I hate this. I hate this. So, I mean, I'm happy for the Bucks, but everybody should have said, hold on. Everybody in LA take Friday off. We about to do our damn parade. We ain't just about to be out here letting them have a. No, that's not happening. No, I haven't heard not one whisper of a parade. Not one whisper.
That's what's not happening. It's not happening. And now we definitely can't do it. Now that we've already gone through another finals win, it's not like we can be like, oh, by the way, it's the off season. Let's we'll do it right now. The Bucks are the current champions, but we'll celebrate from last year. Dumb. It's not gonna happen. It's a shame. It's a damn shame. I'm upset about it. Okay.
About everybody going down there during the pandemic. I know we talked a little bit of trash about y'all that did that, but I'm gonna take it all back right now. I should have had my behind down there with y'all because look, now I'm sitting here mad that I didn't get to celebrate. Should have went down there with y'all.
Oh God, yeah. At that time, I was way too paranoid to be doing anything like that. So yeah. Okay, let's talk about the Patriots because they are going to be meeting with their former superstar on October 3rd. It's going to be a pretty big game. Patriots versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it feels like it's going to be a little awkward what's going to happen, because Tom Brady left them and now they're going to be facing off against him. So, from this interview, or there was this guy, Byron Cowart, he said that, sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. He said that right now their focus is just on beating the reigning Super Bowl champions. They're not even really thinking about Tom Brady. He said that they're not going to be doing any sort of special celebration or ceremony for him. They just are going to be going at it like they're beating the reigning Super Bowl champions, and they don't care about who he is or what he's done for the franchise. He said, quote, he's done a lot of things for this organization. He's coming back, but he's coming back as an opponent, so I'm going to treat it like any opponent. We ain't welcoming him. We just got to play him. There ain't going to be no damn ceremony for him or nothing like that. Love the guy. He did a lot for the community and for the city, but he's still an opponent. And I think that that's the right mentality to have. You don't want to go looking at your opposing team being like, oh man, like we love you. We've seen friends, on the field and on the court, but once they're on the court, they're enemies. They're no longer friends after that. Maybe after the game, there's a handshake and a hug and a congratulations, but during the actual game, there can't be this like, oh, love you, man. So I get it, but I do think he's wrong about the ceremony. I feel like there is going to be some sort of Tom Brady honoring, whatever that is. That's definitely going to happen. I mean, the guy was there for so long. It would be almost rude of them not to do something for him. Jackie, so what do you think about him saying that he's looking at Tom Brady as an opponent and that they shouldn't be celebrating him in any way, shape, or form? Do you agree with that?
As a competitor, yes, I agree with that. But in reality, he's going to get his feelings hurt because one way or another, this man is going to be celebrated. I looked up the tickets for that. And the last time I checked, the nosebleeds, and so they probably have gone up because I think the last time I looked was 2 months ago. But that specific game, the nosebleed seats was $4,000. That's a ceremony in itself. You trying to make people put down a down payment on a car for tickets to see Tom Brady. So obviously the fans there love him. I know Patriot fans, diehard Patriot fans who still kind of really I don't want to say really, but they support Tampa Bay because it's Tom Brady, because they're diehard Tom Brady fans as well. So there's going to be some sort of video. We've seen that happen a lot in the NBA. There's going to be some sort of video playing on the screen for Tom Brady. The fans are going to be chanting his name. Even if the Patriots themselves don't say, hey, we're going to do this specific thing for Tom Brady, the fans are going to have a whole moment for that man. He's going to come out onto the field. All you're going to hear is Brady, Brady. A whole bunch of people going to have signs. There's going to be a ceremony whether they plan it or not. So they might as well just rock with it because it's going to happen. And he could just, ignore it. But he's going to be by himself. Everybody else is going to be like, oh my God, Tom Brady is here. That's what's going to happen.
Totally. Yeah. And like you said, I think there is a bit of a divide in the Patriots fandom where there are people who still love Tom Brady and then there are the fans who hate him for leaving. Doug says they usually do tribute videos. He deserves it. And that's definitely going to happen. So I think it's sort of funny that Byron's on this podcast over here and being like, there's not going to be a damn ceremony. Like, there probably is. It would.
Turbo is hilarious. He said, that's like sucking up to an ex-wife.
I mean, yes, I get that. There was one moment in the NBA last season where they really did some sort of special honoring of a player. Oh, Kawhi, I think.
It was Kawhi got one. I think I've seen a lot of players get them. I feel like Kyrie got one, but I might be wrong about that. When he went back to Cleveland. I don't know, but there's a lot. It's just what you do. When somebody spends time with you, or especially somebody as long as Tom Brady, I agree with you. It'd be rude to not do something at this point. And you're not going to win, so you might as well enjoy that ceremony. You're going to lose the game, so you might as well just go ahead and do something you can enjoy. You're going to lose. You're going to lose.
I know. It's like, it almost would seem like they're just too, like, in their feelings if they don't do anything special to honor him, or just to be like, hey, we recognize the contributions that you made. I mean, the contributions that Tom Brady did make to that franchise are insane. So he deserves it. I get why fans would be mad. I get why the current Patriots players wouldn't want to be celebrating their opponent, the guy who left them. But ultimately, like, that's just what you got to do. It's just like decency. Well, that wraps up Need to Know News. We're wrapping it up a little early today, so let's get into the post up.
Yes, let's get into it, because I can't wait till we get to the topic that everybody. I see you guys in the chat watching that parade. Don't watch that parade. Just only focus on us. They didn't give us our parade. We're not acknowledging their parade. It's only half true. I'm gonna watch it when we get off the show. But anyway, I think I might be like Devin on this first one. Devin yesterday did not think that woman was hiding her face, even though she was. I am not sure if I agree with everybody, and they think that this woman at Chick-fil-A had no idea who Giannis was. I think she was just starstruck. But we told you about this yesterday, so let's show you the moment where the only thing that would have made this better is if DeAndre Ayton was in the truck with him, and then he was ordering these chicken minis. But you guys take a look at this video.
So can I have, please, a 50-piece, okay, not 51, not 49 chicken minis, yes, 50. And let me have a large drink, no ice, half Sprite, half lemonade. Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure. And then can I have
oh man,
a large?
So
okay, so look at her face. Did she look? She didn't know, or she was just starstruck?
I think she did know. Look at that smile. You don't smile like that when you're dealing with regular customers. Yeah.
Right. You just be straight face. Can I help you? Okay, my pleasure. Exactly. Next window.
It's so funny.
Dude, I don't want to seem all excited, but Giannis is in my line. That's how she looked to me. She looked super excited.
Well, Arthi says that Chick-fil-A employees are just trained to be super nice. I've never been. You guys like drag me in the comments about this, but I've never been to a Chick-fil-A before. I've never actually been to one, so I wouldn't know. But like, I just think that I don't know, that grin to me seems like, oh my God, I know who this guy is, and I'm trying to play it cool.
Are trained to be super nice, so much so that at the beginning of the pandemic, I left a Chick-fil-A and I said thank you, and they didn't say my pleasure, and I was like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, what is wrong? I've never had a person just smile at me like, oh my God, hi. Like, no one at Chick-fil-A has ever smiled at me like that, and I go a lot, you guys, so I don't know. I'm just gonna say she's starstruck. I could be wrong, but I think she's starstruck. But look, Twitter, I'm so glad that there's some of you that are like me, because while everybody else was wondering if she knew who Giannis was, there are those of you who was like, no, we're not going to just skip over that drink. Half Sprite, half lemonade. Boy, trying to be Arnold Palmer and have his own drink name, huh? Pull up to the window and let me get that large Giannis, no ice. And he just said half Sprite, half lemonade. Love Giannis, but nah, man. I just can't imagine how that tastes. But I like this next user. Ooh, that does not sound good to me. It sounds good to you?
It's lemon lime. I've done that before. Lemon lime soda and lemonade sounds delicious. No ice, I don't like. I need to have ice in there. But if I'm going out to a bar, I get vodka soda with a splash of lemonade. That's really good too.
All right, I'm gonna try it, but if I do try it, I'm gonna order it just like this next user said, and I need them to know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this. He says, it's a Chick-fil-A down the street. I'm pulling up ASAP, like, let me get a freaky geeky, hold the ice. That's how I'm ordering this drink. And if they don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not gonna get it. Y'all supposed to know this. It doesn't sound tasty to me, but I'm gonna take Devin's word for it. I'm gonna go order me a freaky geeky. So let's get on to this next one, because remember, Devin and I talked about it, and we showed you that clip. I think it was yesterday, or no, Monday or Tuesday, of Giannis saying that, you know, when you look to the next game, that's your pride. He doesn't look to the next game. He just focuses on the moment. I applauded him for that, but I'm telling you that's not 100% true, because my boy came prepared because he had cigars at the ready. So take a look at this. Now, I don't think you come with a box of Cuban cigars just at the ready. I don't know if they're Cuban. I'm just assuming they're Cuban because those are the most expensive ones. But I just don't think you come with a box of Cuban cigars if you're not looking to the future. If you're not thinking, oh, we going to win, so let me get my celebratory items ready. But either way, the Bucks locker room was a whole mood. Brook Lopez, where are you, sir? What do you, just take a look.
I don't know what's going on right now, man. I've been waiting for this my whole life. I don't know what's going on, man. It's surreal.
Now, I will say this. I don't know what was going on with that dinosaur at the beginning. Maybe that's his stuffed animal from childhood. I do not know. But I will say this. My man came prepared. Because I don't know if you've ever got champagne in the eye. That is not pleasant. He had goggles. I am for this. Devin, what do you think about Brook Lopez and his little green dinosaur and them goggles? And what's happening?
He's having a good ass time. That's what's happening. I feel like I haven't seen somebody looking so, like, what's the word? Like faded or whatever. Just so relaxed, having fun, enjoying himself. That's what I like to see. Yeah, just sitting there like, yeah, bro.
Goggles on. Anybody seen my dinosaur? Like, that's just what I was waiting for him to say. Like, what? Who brings a dinosaur? I love it. I thought it was great. My Glock says he looked like he's I just passed me by. He looks like he's faded already. I love this moment. Shout out to all the Bucks, because they were just celebrating, having a good time. I saw this post game with Bobby Portis and Pat Covington, and this, I wanted them to answer the question, but they didn't. And this is how you gonna tell on yourself without actually telling on yourself. The question was, how much champagne have you guys had to drink already? So you guys take a look at this video.
How much champagne have each of you consumed?
Really? Y'all couldn't even, the look at each other like, should we tell her this is our third bottle? Should we tell her? Because she was like, before we start this interview, which now that's a good question. How much have you had to consume? I need to know, if I ask you deep questions, are you able to answer them? Or should I just stick with surface questions? They told on themselves without actually telling on themselves. And I love it. Y'all turn up. Y'all won. And this is important for that franchise. I loved it. That's fantastic. This next one, though, I don't even want to put up on this screen. Let me just be honest about this. I don't want to show you this, but it's the post up, and this man was posted up in the third quarter, and I don't know which one bothers me more, the first guy or the second guy. So Devin, we're gonna have to talk about it, but begrudgingly, let me show you Bucks third quarter Bucks fan turn up. Take a look. RUSS guy was like, I'm not finna tear my jersey. Go to somebody else. Devin, how do you feel about the jingling and my only thing was like, okay, imagine if this is your husband, like your husband is out at the game, and then you turn on the TV and this is what you see.
I mean, it's nothing she's never seen before, so she's probably not upset about it. I don't know. I appreciate the body confidence. If this were somebody that I was close to, I would recommend they not do this.
Right.
At a game.
I would recommend you not do this. That's hilarious. Yeah, okay. I mean, praise God. I ain't got nothing else to say about that. When I saw this, I was like, ew, what is happening? And I'm not shading anybody. I'm just saying. This reminds me of when Lizzo did her thing at the Lakers game. I didn't enjoy that either. That was not something that I enjoyed seeing. I didn't enjoy seeing this either. So y'all can keep that at home. Thank you. All right, so let's go on to this next one, because this is the one we wanted to talk about. So I just want to, before I show you this clip, I want to kind of recap a few things that I said in the past, just so you understand where I'm coming from when we break this down. Number one, I said Chris Middleton is better all around. Now, this, of course, was before Giannis decided to actually go back and watch game tape and realize that he was clogging the lane. He wasn't bringing his teammates into the play as well as he should have. I think a lot of that, the change that we saw from Giannis, I do think it came from him not playing and the team playing better without him. And I think he took a step back and said, okay, I do really have guys that I can rely on, guys that are going to make me better, make this team better, that I need to trust, right? Because Chris Middleton, let's not sleep on Chris Middleton. Let's not sleep on Drew. So I've already said all those things. So I need you to understand that, because that's the mindset that I'm hearing Steven Jackson say what he's saying. So I want you guys to take a listen, and then we're going to dive into it.
It means a lot to him to stay and win it in Milwaukee, but he's on a super team. You got Drew Holiday, you got a closer in Middleton. He's the most dominant player that I've seen in a long time, and I got to give him his credit. But he has a closer. He has a closer. Same thing, just like Shaq had. Shaq was the most dominant, but he had a closer in Kobe. And you have Drew Holiday, one of the best defenders in the game. So don't make it seem like your team is just a whole bunch of D-leaguers. You know, you have one D-leaguer that's an all-star now. So you have a super team. You might not have super names and guys that's selling tennis shoes, but you have a super team. Don't diminish your teammates.
Okay, so I already see Dennis I got the clown face. I don't even know what, but this person says Giannis is the only superstar on the Bucks. That's pretty much what Steven Jackson said. He said they don't have super names, but you have Chris Middleton, you have Drew Holiday. Let's not sleep. Brook Lopez, how many times did I give this man props? I'm like, I don't even like Brook Lopez for a whole bunch of reasons that I'm not going to get into, but I had to give him his props over and over and over again. Chris Middleton stepped up over and over and over again. Even when he had a bad game, he never quit. We talked about it yesterday. He was exhausted. He was out there taking shots, barely able to breathe, but he stayed with it. These are names that I said before this was even done, that I said, okay, you got to start really pushing your offense through Chris a lot more. Obviously, Giannis tweaked his game, and I'm super proud of that, but I don't see what the big deal is about what Steven Jackson is saying. These guys are not super names, but when we're talking about all-star caliber talent, they're on the list. And then I saw somebody in the chat earlier say, oh, you're just going to bring a whole bunch of all-stars to your team? Okay, are these guys not all-star caliber? Yes, they are. So, but y'all got some type of feeling about this. Twitter was all over the place. Some people were like, okay, yeah, I get what Steven Jackson is saying. Some people were like, no. This point is a legitimate point, because I do think that sometimes players develop, well, not sometimes, most of the times players develop over time. They don't come out the gate like superstars. It's rare that you get a LeBron or a Zion or anybody like that just comes out the gate and they've already got that name. They usually develop into that name. So this person says, what's the difference between going to a super team and building one? You're still on a super team. Splitting hairs ain't going to save you from the reality. So I think what Steven Jackson really is trying to say, and I'm putting words in his mouth right now, and I know that, is this is a team sport. You're not doing this by yourself. Giannis isn't going out there winning any ball games by himself facts. There's nothing else to say about that. So then I have another user who thinks, basically, if you're going by Steven Jackson's logic, then that probably means everybody has a super team. So he says, so any team with one superstar and 2 above average starters equals a super team. Isn't that over half the league? Come on, man. Most were doubting Middleton as a legit number 2 until a few weeks ago. That is not accurate, especially when we talk about Steven Jackson. I watch a lot of Steven Jackson, which is why I can criticize a lot. But that's not Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson has been giving Chris Middleton props for a very long time, as have I. I watch a lot of shows. Chris Middleton is a name that has been circling around. People have said for a long time he'd be a solid number 1 on any other team, but because he plays with Giannis, he's a number 2. You guys can go back and watch a ton of sports shows. This is not new information. So I don't think that sentiment is 100% accurate. And then these two are still debating. You can go onto Twitter right now. And these two are still going at it. This guy goes, I agree with Jackson. Not many teams have 3 all-stars on the roster that can perform not just offensively, but defensively as well. He has a case. And then this guy says, except Bucks only have 1. So, this is not a super team. Bucks got bare minimum with what you need to win a chip, superstar, and 2 borderline all-stars. And they actually have 2 actual all-stars, but okay. Ain't no title team in the last decade with more than that. So Ty's in the chat says Middleton plays inconsistent away from home. Not all the time. That's not 100% accurate. If you watch the Bucks all the time, that's not 100% accurate. Everybody has ups and downs. We've seen Giannis have some downs, right? So that's not 100% accurate. I think your statement is based off of the fact that maybe you haven't seen Chris do 100% perfect basketball 100% of the time. Nobody does that. I don't disagree with what Steven Jackson, I don't have a strong opinion on it, but you guys already know what I said before. Chris Middleton is a guy, right? Drew is a guy. He is a guy that you got 2 all-stars at best. And so I just don't know if Steven Jackson's point is so earth-shattering. I get it's a trigger point, but I don't think it's an earth-shattering point. Devin, I know you have an opinion on this, though. What do you think?
I think what he's misunderstanding about this whole thing, though, and Giannis's comments about doing it the hard way, he's taking that as Giannis bashing his teammates. He's not, but nobody has ever looked at the Bucks and thought of them as a super team. When you think of a super team, you think of marquee name players, and sometimes those players deserve to be marquee names, sometimes they don't. And maybe there are other teams that are, we can justify as super teams, but because they don't have that same sort of narrative, we're not going to put them in that category. So super team as a concept is a little bit nebulous, but I don't even hear people talking about the Lakers as a super team. I hear them talking about the Warriors from 2 years ago and the Nets as super teams. And I think it's obvious why we feel that way. We saw KD, we see Steph, we see Clay on a team together. We have KD, we have Kyrie, we have James Harden on a team together. These are all powerful marquee names. So I think that even though Chris Middleton and
that is his exact point. So this is the thing. I think people are hearing what they want to hear. He's saying they have dope players. They are all-stars. JD said Drew was an all-star before, but not consistently, and Giannis and Chris are all-stars. That's exactly what he said. He said they've got all-star caliber players. They don't have all-star names. That's what I'm saying. He's not saying something that's so controversial.
True. I understand that, but I think what bothers me about his take is that he's being kind of critical of Giannis and his comments about doing it the hard way, and saying that he's bashing his teammates or acting like his teammates are not up to par. I think Giannis knows that his teammates helped him get to where they are, but there's also no denying that when you look at this final series, Giannis emerged as the strongest star, and of course that has to come with the support of that starting lineup with him. But I don't know. I think that he's just sort of misinterpreting that comment by Giannis, and I don't think that anybody's going to look at the Bucks and be like, yes, that's a super team. Maybe they should, but then what about Devin Booker and Chris Paul? Are we looking at these 2 guys, a veteran player and an emerging young superstar, and looking at the Suns as a super team? Is that what's the qualifications here? In
order to be a super team, you have to have 3 all-stars, right? That's what I'm saying. You have to have 3 All-Stars. So like, even to your point, when I think about KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, that's a super team to me, right? KD is clearly the more dominant of the 3. And I think you're always going to have a more dominant one of the 3. But to me, that's a super team, right? So when we think about the Bucks, we only talk about Giannis. A lot of people. But I've said, how many times have I said on this show, Chris, y'all can't keep sleeping on Chris Middleton. I say that over and over again. I even had to say, Gary in the chat said, hey, let's not forget at one point, even Brook Lopez was an all-star. I remember that. I did not like Brook Lopez then. I barely like him now. Let's just be honest. But he went out there and he did his thing. He plays well. So I think what Steven Jackson is saying, and I get what his point is, he's thinking about it from a player perspective. Like, if I'm in the locker room and I hear Giannis going out there and say, oh, I did it the hard way. Look at the guys I'm playing with. Granted, that's not what he said. But he's saying, oh, I did it the hard way. I could have done it the easy way and got really good guys. I think what Steven Jackson is saying is, like, don't sleep on who you got. You got all-stars on your team, bro. Like, you can't sleep on that. You don't have all-star names. You don't have names that we are just going to say over and over and over again. Middleton, I'm about to block you. My name is Jackie Ray. This is Devin. This is the block button. You want to see how it works? It's a pretty cool button. Look at this. Bam. So neat.
I just timed out too. We both did it at the same time. We both saw that and we're like,
Doing. That's not what we doing, because you don't get it. And it's a swing and a miss at the point. Steven Jackson is a former player, and he's relating to how these players might hear that. That's what I think. He's saying, okay, don't go out there and say, oh yeah, you know, look at my squad, I had to do it the hard way. No, that's not what you say. You don't have all-star names, but you have a dope squad. Can we not? Bobby Portis went out there and did the damn thing. Let's not sleep on the squad that you got. You got people coming off the bench that I'm like, we can't stop Bobby Portis. Like, what are we doing right now? And so I get Steven Jackson's point. I don't think he said anything earth-shattering. I definitely don't think he said anything warranting, you know, the clown emojis and things like that. He's just saying, don't sleep on the team you got. It's pretty simple to me.
Yeah, I just don't think Giannis is sleeping on the team that he has, but I feel like we could go on and on and on this topic. So I don't want to add another thought here.
Right. Except for, we're watching you. We will block you again. I just want to say that again. But let's get on to this next one. I think, you know, Steven Jackson, I criticize you a lot. I don't think you said anything that warrants criticism. I get your point. But I know some people are going to feel some type of way about this because we've seen this time and time again. I understand that a coach has a job. Fun fact, though, LeBron was clearly not watching the finals that last game because the Sierra Canyon game was at the same time. And LeBron literally was out there coaching Bronny and the rest of the Sierra Canyon squad to the W. I want you to take a look at this and let me know your thoughts. So already I see Ty in the chat says, let the coach do his job. Jeez. And then Mike Locke says, "La greatness coaching, Bronny, you love to see it." I'm right there with you. And I agree with that. A lot of people were upset. It's like, let the coaches. First of all, there's no way on God's green earth that coach has the same basketball IQ as LeBron James has. It's just not happening. That's number one. Number two, there's no way LeBron would be sitting on the sideline with the team if he and the coach didn't have a conversation. There was a couple of times where LeBron had fallen back, coach was coaching. There's a couple of times coach had fallen back, coach was coaching. If it was me, and I have one of the greatest to ever do it, his kid playing on my team, and I can steal some of his IQ, oh, I'm stealing as much of his IQ as I can. This is a no-brainer for me. People were obviously mad, just like Ty was, and says, oh my God, let him let him coach. A lot of people have seen Space Jam. Okay, and I can tell by your comments because it says he doesn't need a coach, he needs a dad. Imagine LeBron just being your dad. First of all, these are asinine comments. I think a lot of you guys know that I paid for my first year of college bowling. My dad was my coach. So my dad was one of the best bowlers I ever met. He had countless 300s. I've never bowled a 300. I've only gotten a 275. So my dad was my coach. He came with me to every single tournament. If he couldn't, I would be on the phone with him. That wasn't because my dad was trying to mold me into being some sort of professional bowler. It's because my dad was really good at something that he saw I had an interest in, and he tried to help me. He would be a horrible dad if he didn't. And I think LeBron, having the IQ that he has, if he was not out there helping his son do whatever he wants to do, that would make him a horrible father. So I just don't get this whole thing that y'all be talking about. But Devin, what do you think about this?
Sorry, I had to unmute. Took a second there. I think that any high school coach would be thrilled to have LeBron out there helping out, right? Like, I can imagine that he would be amazing. I've met the Sierra Canyon high school coach, Andre Chevalier, and I think that he would be thrilled. I think that he really respects these young sons of NBA players that come in and join his squad, and having LeBron there helping out is probably the best thing that could happen. So I don't think there's any issue. I don't think LeBron's stepping on any toes. Are we really expecting LeBron James to go to his son's basketball game and sit in the stands and not say anything? That's just, it wouldn't happen.
And that would be a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. Because if he didn't coach Bronny and Bronny was having a hard time and LeBron was in the stands, people would drag him like, you're LeBron James. Why don't you do something? Why don't you say something? And then if he says something, let the coach do his job. Do what you do, exactly. LeBron. We clearly know there's no win in this for you. So at this point, just do what you do. I love it. I love to see, and we know LeBron's a family man. I don't see Bronny growing up saying he doesn't want to play ball. Obviously he does, but I definitely don't. I think he'll probably be the only one in the family that plays ball because he's the only one that seems to have a ton of interest in it. So, let's go. Doug says Jackie like the perfect wife. Pro bowler. Hey, I've been thinking about getting back into pro bowling. I don't know. I'll let y'all know. I'll keep y'all posted on this one. But let's talk about this next one, because when I first saw this picture, I didn't like it at all. I did not like. It's Big Ben, not lean, mean machine Ben. So they said, Steelers reported to training camp today. Here is a lean, mean Ben Roethlisberger showing up for his 18th NFL season. I was like, not lean and mean. It's Big Ben, not lean Ben. That doesn't even sound right. But then I took a closer look. If you look in the middle, you can see the little tire. So he's not lean and mean. He's just a little slim. He does look more fit for sure. But of course, Twitter had something to say about it, and I love it. He said, lean's a stretch, but you can't deny he does look more fit. I agree with that. He definitely looks more fit. But this guy thinks we're both wrong in saying he looks more fit. That's not it. He said there's only one thing that this man has changed. He trimmed his beard, and that's it. Like, that is not factual. Big Ben looks smaller. I can't wait to see this season because, the AFC North had 3 teams with a good record. So I've been saying that the Browns would be the kings of the North for a while. They've been letting me down, though, but we shall see. I'm hoping that they come around and actually do this. So Mike Locke says, Jackie bowling cap. No, that's how I paid for my first year of school, friend. But yeah, if you go to St. Louis, there is a bowling hall of fame. And if you look up collegiate bowlers, for the most, the record might have been broken by now, but for the most consistent tournament 200s, I was in the Hall of Fame. So if you go to St. Louis, that's where the Bowling Hall of Fame is. So yeah, look me up. Anyway, so let's move on to this next one. What we not going to do, because this one's unfortunate. We knew it was coming. We knew when Maria Taylor, and I still stand by what I said. I don't think that Maria Taylor is at the caliber where she can be asking for Stephen A type money. I do think her going from $1 million a year to $5 million a year is a nice jump. I don't even make $1 million a year, so maybe that's just my mindset. But I thought it was a show of faith that ESPN did believe in her, giving her an extra $4 million a year. I thought it was a good look, and I thought she should have taken it. But she thought she was worth more. I'm not mad at that. Know your worth. If you believe you're worth more, go out there and try to get more. I'm not mad at that. So Now the time has come. Yesterday, I showed you a moment in time where Rachel Nichols does what she does best, and she asked moronic questions. She's already proven she's not an ally, but now she can basically walk into, and maybe that's why we haven't really heard anything from her. She just was quiet because she knew at the end of the day, ESPN was not going to, because ESPN offered her that $5 million, and then when she didn't take that, they went back to Maria and like, okay, well, we're going to take you down to 3. So they were not going to negotiate up for her. So, and this is before the whole Rachel Nichols thing broke. So maybe Rachel was just waiting her time out. She knew she wasn't going to really have to address this too much, except for that whack apology she did where she tried to pretend to get teary-eyed. Oh, that girl's terrible. But anyway, so now here's the only thing, and if you guys happen to know this, let me know. ESPN has a clause, or at least they did a year ago. They had a clause in their contract that said, once you leave, you can't work anywhere else like a competitor for 6 months after your contract ends. So it'll be interesting to see how she navigates, her future, especially with the NBA season only 3 months away. But both parties responded with a very well-written fake PR statement. Jimmy Pitaro, he's the chairman of ESPN. He said, quote, Maria's remarkable success speaks directly to her abilities and work ethic. There is no doubt we will miss Maria, but we remain determined to continue to build a deep and skilled talent roster that thoroughly reflects the athletes we cover and the fans we serve. While she chose to pursue a new opportunity, we are proud of the work we've done together. And Maria echoed those same fake PR written statements and said, so thankful to Jimmy and all of my great teammates and friends at the SEC Network, College Game Day, women's and men's college basketball, and the NBA Countdown family. The people who believed in me, encouraged me, pushed me, and lifted me up. Words are inadequate to express my boundless appreciation, and I hope to make them proud. So, exactly, I see Myron, and there's a non-compete clause in there for 6 months. But the Daily Beast is reporting that Maria's in negotiations with NBC to cover the Tokyo Olympics. The Tokyo Olympics are just around the corner. I think it's great if she's in talks with NBC because we know they used to have Marv Albert before he retired, Mike Breen. I think that means Mark Jackson and Van Gundy. I don't know, but I know that they have a nice little talented roster. I think she would fit in great there. We also know that they cover a lot of the WNBA, so I think technically that would be great. But this, to me, I mean, sure, I'm not mad at it at all. If this is what you think you need to do for your career, if you think you're worth more than the $5 million, I absolutely applaud you. Go out and get what you think you're worth. But when you really talk about sports, and although we know ESPN has been on this downward spiral for a long time, I just don't know if you turn down $5 million unless NBC is going to give you that $8 million. Correct, Crystal? Yep, they had Bob Costa as well at one point. So I just don't know if you do this, and I don't know how you're going to navigate unless they negotiated that. They obviously can negotiate and say, hey, we're going to waive that 6 months non-compete clause. You can go over there and you can work right now. Given what happened, they might have done that. They might have worked it out. But what we're not going to do is turn around next season and see Rachel Nichols sitting in the booth. I just don't know how I would feel about that. I don't know. Congratulations, Maria. You got what you wanted. I hope you got the money you wanted, or at least the exposure you wanted. Whatever you wanted for you, I hope that you got that. But I don't want to see Rachel Nichols in the booth. I barely want to see Rachel Nichols on the sideline, and I damn sure don't want to hear her asking any post-game questions. I'm not saying I want this woman's career to be over. I just don't want to see her in a prominent position anymore. I think that now we can stop overlooking the fact that she is a subpar reporter at best. She asks bonehead questions, and we all know the majority of the reason why she has the success she has is because of her mother-in-law. I think it's time for us to stop overlooking that and stop playing dumb, and let's actually get some talented people in this position. Let's not automatically default to Rachel Nichols taking over this spot now that Maria's gone. I think that's completely wrong if ESPN does that. I think it'll be another hash mark in the reasons why they are continually declining. And I think that this is their moment to do better. There's got to be young, talented people that are trying to get in. You can bring me and Devin in. We'll take over for Rachel. But please do not have Rachel in a booth again. Ever. That's all I got. What we're not going to do. Devin, what do you think? Do you think Rachel's just going to always just automatically walk into that spot?
I mean, I think so. I don't think that Rachel's going to be receiving any sort of limitations or repercussions for her actions. I think that they feel they did what they could by giving Maria Taylor the spot in the NBA Finals. And I feel like they look at that as rectifying the situation, punishing Rachel, and moving on. So I think that Rachel's still going to be a mainstay on ESPN. She is still going to get all the work that she wants. But I feel like, and I'm hopeful that fans and viewers are going to just be less interested in hearing what she has to say. I mean, especially, to be honest, like after that phone call and then, I don't know, watching her a little bit more, I've told you before, I think that she's a little bit boring. You can tell she's reading off of a teleprompter. Then she asked Giannis that stupid question about, who did she ask? Chris Paul, not Giannis. How does it feel to lose? How do you think it feels? I just am losing respect for her in so many ways. Even outside of what she said about Maria Taylor, she's just not doing a very good job at her job. That being said, I'm very excited for Maria Taylor. I respect that she turned down $5 million per year and knows her worth. That would be very hard for me to do. I would have a, yeah.
Somebody come
I would
be
be
right
like,
now and be
hey.
like, I'll give you $500,000 and be like, let me get my stuff. Let me get my coat. Let me go.
Same. I know. How many hours a week you want me to work? 90? Okay, I'll do it. Like,
You got a pen? I don't have a pen. Give me a pen. Let me sign. Let me sign. I'd be ready to go.
I know. So that took a lot of guts from Maria, and I am really proud of her for doing that because I don't think most people in general would be able to turn down that kind of money, $5 million. Hopefully she's getting what she wants out of the next gig. But yeah, pretty wild situation happening over at ESPN.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I saw who said it. JD said Malika Andrews deserves the job. I think Malika Andrews is right where she's supposed to be right now. I don't think that we should jump the gun and put her right into the booth. I think she will end up in the booth. I think it's a little too early for her to be there right now. She's just kind of getting her feet wet. She is killing it. I definitely think she'll end up there, but I think it's too early right now. But I really don't care. I don't want to say I don't care who it is, but just not Rachel. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I'm with you. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Malika does with the network because she is so fun. She's 26 years old. I love that. Like, so impressive.
I like her on the sideline because her interactions with the players is just genuine. Sure, she has her questions that she asks off top, but she's an active listener and she'll just go. You could tell she'll just, whatever they say, she's going to respond to, and she gets genuine reactions, which I love about her. I love her authenticity. I'm not ready to not see her on the sideline because then we're going to get somebody like Rachel on the sideline asking stupid questions like, so how's it feel? I don't want it. Let Malika stay there for a little while longer. Let me enjoy this, and then we'll put her in the booth.
Yes, I agree with you on that. All right, you guys, well, let's wrap up the show. Great show. I had a lot of fun today, especially with the Steven Jackson debate. There's a lot of people chiming in the comments. So let us know what you think about that if you're watching this after we've already gone live. We're going to be back again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Subscribe, tap the bell, leave a comment below, share this video with your friends. You know what to do, you guys, and have a great Thursday. We'll see you later. Bye.